Welcome to another episode of Eating While Broke. Today we have sisters Kristel Jones and Kendra, owners of Uplift Us Marketplace. Uplift Us Marketplace is a retail store that dedicates 100% of its shelf space to Black entrepreneurs to proudly sell their products while offering consumers a place to actually shop Black. You don't have to go all over the internet, guys. You can go to one store and you can actually buy their buy online.
Yes.
Today, what do you have us eating?
So today we're making actually a meal that I still love. It's tuna casserole, and it came back from when I had 3 kids by the time I was 24. Mm-hmm. So I used to make this because it's good and it goes a long way. So.
Yes, and it's affordable. I think this meal costs roughly $5-6.
Yeah, yes. At the most.
And it's got a white sauce, so it looks like it's gonna taste really good. Can you tell us what are the ingredients?
Yes, so the ingredients are egg noodles, mm-hmm. Campbell's cream of mushroom soup, mm-hmm. a can of tuna, and cheddar cheese.
Awesome. So did you come up with this yourself, or did you Google it?
You know what? Honestly, I don't remember.
Mom made this when we were little too.
Okay.
Yeah, our mom used to make it when we were little.
Okay.
So
awesome. So why don't you start us off?
Okay. So first, I'm going to take the egg noodles and put them in this pot to boil.
And just so you guys know that's listening, we pre-cooked them a little bit so we'll eat faster because it's only a 30-40 minute shoot. But on average, the noodles only took like 8 minutes to cook.
Yeah, exactly. So you just, boil the noodles, drain the water, which it's already done here. So I'm just kind of heating it back up in the pot. And then I'll take the tuna first here.
Oh, so tuna goes first.
Yes, and then I'll take the tuna and get it in here so that can get heated up. Usually it's just for a pack of egg noodles. It's just one larger can of tuna. And mix that in there. I know it sounds a little crazy, but it's quite delicious.
I used to mix my tuna with mac and cheese.
Oh, really? Oh,
but I don't know.
Yeah.
When I mention it in my house, my husband looks at me like I'm white, so I don't like bragging about it. But
it actually sounds good.
It's really good.
Yeah. You know, my husband thinks the same thing actually about this meal.
Mm-hmm. Oh, for real?
But I like it. The kids like it, so.
Yeah, it looks like quality for budget.
Yeah, exactly.
And I've never had the cup of mushroom soup or any of that.
No, I use this for actually a lot of things.
Yeah.
So yes, I add a little bit of Lori seasoning salt just to give it a little bit of flavor. You don't want it, to be bland. Mm-hmm. You can add pepper if you want, which I will add a little bit of that as well.
So when was the last time you ate this dish?
It's funny because my daughter who's 21 still asks for me to make it.
Oh, okay.
So I made it maybe about a month ago.
Okay.
About a month ago. I don't make it very often now, but it is requested from time to time. So
you said you made this when you were 24, you're a mom.
Yes.
Is this when you started your entrepreneurship? Because I know you've been an entrepreneur for quite some time, both of you guys.
We have.
Right.
So we started entrepreneurship a little bit, well, no, actually right around then, maybe I was about 25, 26, right?
Yeah, I think so, because I had Chad. I was about 27.
Yes, so we opened an indoor play center at the time together. We were we've been partners forever.
Yes.
So.
Yes.
Partners in crime when we were little.
And I had 2 little boys when we opened the first business.
Okay. Yes. So it seemed like, were you guys trying to fill a need then?
We've just always had the entrepreneurship bug. Like we just always came up with these great ideas. I think one day we were just talking and I had an idea of like, let's open an indoor play center. Mm-hmm. And she got excited by the idea. And you know what? Our energy just kind of bounces off of each other to where we get excited and we just go for it.
Yeah. So one little spark of an idea, then all of a sudden we're like, oh, we could do this, we could do that. And then next thing you know, something's moving.
How do you fund these ideas when you're like, okay, I have this idea, let's go.
Right. Yeah, well, Tiny Town, we actually funded that with loans. We did.
Okay.
Yes.
And thankfully we had like really good credit, so we were able to get a loan to open it. And it didn't take a lot.
No.
The cost wasn't too high to open it because we just had to rent an empty space. Yeah, rent a large empty space. It was like 4,000 square feet. And we just filled it with fun things, jumpers and
For
nice.
us, because we had little kids and, we were always doing other things, we really kept the parents in mind. So we set it up to where the parents could sit, relax, watch TV, drink coffee, and watch their kids play without
Nice.
having to be a part of it.
Of course.
And so the parents absolutely loved that idea.
So you were definitely filling a need.
Yes.
oh yeah,
Filling
absolutely.
a need. Okay, so now fast forward to Uplift Us Marketplace. What was going on at the time where you guys decided we're going to create this retail store and we're going to support 100% Black-owned businesses?
Oh, okay. So that was during the pandemic. We were all home, and everything was happening. It was a major movement at that time with George Floyd, everything going on. Yeah, exactly, BLM, and we were trying to be really conscious about shopping Black, and it had to be online, and it was difficult.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. No, you can go.
At the same time, one day I just like vegged out on TV because we were home during the pandemic, and I watched like a ton of documentaries on Black Wall Street. And as I was watching those documentaries, I was just so moved by seeing the images of Black Wall Street years ago, and then just hearing the statistics now about how long the Black dollar circulates, which is only 6 hours, unfortunately.
And that's compared to the white dollar.
Compared to
Every other
really
dollar,
any other community,
any other
white,
community.
which circulates for 30, 45 days. So, that creates a huge gap in our communities and in just everything that we have.
Now, I was a little confused when I was doing some research and you talk about the Black dollar circulating. I guess my question comes in, like, if the Black market has so much buying power, why is it circulating at such a small time frame?
Well, that's not where we're spending our money.
So we have the second highest spending power in the United States. But when you look at the products in any major retailers or even small retailers, we only have 3% of the shelf space.
Wow.
So when you go and you're spending your money, 9 times out of 10, you're spending it on, products made by other people, which there's nothing wrong with that. But we found that, it's just difficult to find the products that are made by us because they're not on the shelf.
Right.
Yeah. So, but this also goes back to, before George Floyd, I think Target started to pick up Black brands, but when they did, you saw the hate mail come through for them picking up a Black brand. I know after Black Lives Matter, brands started to become conscious.
Yes.
And I honestly think that the only reason why George Floyd had like such a positive impact was we were in a pandemic. There were no sports to fluff us over.
Exactly.
Right, exactly.
People
Very
literally
true.
had to face music because this had been going on for years. For years, black people have asked for equal opportunities in retail and have been producing. It's not like these products don't exist. It's not like Black entrepreneurs don't exist. It's not like our dollars don't exist. Our buying power doesn't exist.
Exactly.
And there's high quality Black products out there to use. Hair care.
There's
body
even
care.
toothpaste I saw.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, it's definitely not from a lack of quality or lack of availability. It's just being able to have the opportunity and find it.
Yeah, and it's I guess the problem area would be the lack of distribution.
Exactly.
And that's where Uplift Us Marketplace, I'll tell you from experience, I was walking through the Fox Hills Mall. I'm used to seeing your typical brands, your Foot Lockers, your Champs, whatever traditional stores we all grew up with. And I came across your store and it was like, we support, I think it was like over 80% of your products in your store are Black owned. And I was,
100%, but over 80 Black owned brands.
Okay,
Yes.
100% Black owned and over 80 brands.
Yes.
Right.
And I stopped in my tracks. I said, oh my gosh, and I remember, when the Black Lives Matter movement, I did have that urge to say, I want to shop Black.
Yeah.
Right.
But shopping Black wasn't as easy and accessible. You have your 1 or 2 brands that got picked up by major retailers since, George Floyd. And then honestly, for me, it's just really not authentic enough for me. I feel like we almost had to literally die to get that distribution.
Right.
And to walk into your store, of course, I was like, okay, this is great that it has all these Black products. So I immediately walked over to your, I checked out the products. The products were amazing. Everything you could imagine, from food to clothing to bonnets to a whole bunch of different items. By the way, me and my daughter now have matching bonnets.
Love it.
And what I thought was, I wanted to ask the person that worked there. I just had to know, because of what happened with Target, and I'm not trying to sing out Target or any major retailer, but I felt like their obligation to support us was more out of obligation.
Right.
And I had to know if Uplift Us Marketplace was Black owned.
Because you do see that a lot. Where
Yes.
they'll, try and represent, Black products.
Exactly.
But it's not Black-owned.
Yeah, and that's what we were finding
That's
also.
what we were finding. Because in our mission, once our consciousness was raised and we were trying to seek out Black products, some things weren't. And we were like, oh my gosh, I bought this thinking, that I'm supporting, and it wasn't. And then, of course, shipping fees and everything. And that's where the idea came from.
Right.
We were like, you know what? We need a space that we can go to.
Right.
To make
Yeah.
it easy.
And it's so funny because when she had the idea, I immediately thought I thought of the space. I was thinking, I want it to be beautiful. I want it to be just like that farmhouse look, just something that people wouldn't expect.
Yeah.
And it's so funny because when we started telling people we're opening a store that sells, all Black owned products, and everyone's reaction was, oh, you're opening a swap meet?
Yeah.
A swap meet.
Right, that's what they were picturing.
That they were,
right,
yeah,
exactly.
And it was like, no.
No, we wanted to raise the bar. It's going to be a space where it's absolutely beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
And when you walk in, you're surprised and
You're
you're proud.
You're Nordstrom-like experience.
Yeah,
exactly.
Customer service.
You're proud to shop there.
And I kind of going back to what you said, and you could definitely serve us while we're discussing this because I'm hungry.
It's ready. Let me get some here.
I agree with you in the sense where people thought, okay, swap meet, because I think maybe a part of the reason why I even asked if it was Black owned or what have you could have been the fact that it was such a nice store to walk into. It was like, oh, okay, is this really? And I guess that's kind of bad.
Yeah.
But I mean,
it's reality.
It's
Yeah.
reality,
What we've
exactly.
seen, and we want to change that whole, because also, and this is just to be quite honest, sometimes even talking to people about trying to shop Black, I would hear people say, I tried to support a Black business and I got attitude, I didn't have good customer service. We want to change that perception. That's not what it is. We have Black entrepreneurs out here working hard, creating quality products, and we'll give you the service. So we figure, we'll be that standard.
Yeah.
We'll make a place where we know we're going to be,
It's beautiful. It's a beautiful experience. The customer service was above par. Now, as we get into this meat, we have to sample your eating while brokeness.
Thank you.
All right, let's see.
Hope
Here
you
we
put
go.
enough seasoning there.
It's
Pretty tasty, right?
It's very tasty. I'm gonna go in for a second bite. And this is tuna casserole.
Tuna casserole.
Tuna casserole.
Easy.
Is this your first time having tuna
This
casserole?
is my very first time having tuna casserole.
So what about a 20-minute meal?
Yeah, if that. Really quick. You can put it in the oven if you want, but stovetop's fine.
I could see why your daughter still asks for it.
Yeah.
It's affordable for all you college students out there.
Right.
It's a good alternative to ramen versus us tweaking ramen all the time.
Yeah.
So when you were creating Uplift Marketplace, I'm pretty sure you guys had some hard milestones to hit or some challenges. Can you share with us what some of those challenges were?
I think probably the startup cost was probably the first challenge. We ended up funding everything ourselves. We got help. We got some help from some family and friends, but just trying to, I would say, get the funds to start the
funds
business. Yeah.
Would be on the business side of it
Yeah.
the hardest thing, because we were a business coming out of nowhere, so applying
Right.
for loans and everything, they're like, you have a year in business, what are your
Yeah.
sales? Like, we have none. So
Especially during the
Exactly.
pandemic.
Right.
Like you're opening a business during the pandemic.
Exactly.
A retail store at that. They're like, the malls are closed.
And when you were hit with those hurdles, no part of you was like, maybe we should wait till the world opens up.
No.
You know what? we laugh at ourselves
I
all the
know.
time. We're just not geared that way. Once we have an idea
Right.
and we think it's good, we
We
are going for it.
go and we go
So-
hard. Yeah.
So you started, ironically, I would have thought that you would have started e-commerce, but you went directly into retail
Yes.
during a pandemic.
Well-
I have to stress that during a
Yes,
pandemic,
during a
you're
pandemic.
like, hey guys, I know it's going to cost you a lot of money.
Right.
We're going to invest our personal dollars, husbands and children. We're going to invest our personal dollars into a retail store to support Black-owned businesses in the middle of a pandemic when people are locked in their house.
Right.
I just want to know the thought process.
We felt like everyone was hungry for the same thing because, like you said before, sports was going on and everyone's attention was on what was happening in the United States when it came to, Black lives and just everything that was going on. So we felt like this is the time. Despite the pandemic, everything else, everyone's awareness is heightened right now.
Right.
And we had to jump on that. Also, launching e-commerce first, it's like that was part of our hurdle at first, is finding everything online, not seeing the quality, feeling it.
Yeah, exactly.
So-
We wanted them to see it and feel it. And honestly, we were thinking a lot smaller when we had the idea. We were thinking of maybe we'd have 15 companies in the store.
And how do you find these companies?
Right. So we kind of just put the word out there. We were looking on Instagram. We reached out to a few companies that looked like they had like really good products, something unique,
Set up meetings.
Right. We set up meetings, met with them, and word spread. Next thing you know, we had 60. Well,
Wow.
we had hundreds of companies contact us to get
Yes.
into the store.
That shows how big the demand was.
Exactly.
Showed the demand, and that's
right.
when we
Hundreds. You
started
said
saying,
hundreds
oh
of
my-
companies reached
yes.
out to you
Oh
guys.
yeah,
And
hundreds
still,
reached out, and
we have a
still
waiting
daily.
list right now.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh yeah.
So that is part of what sparked us, and
Yeah.
then seeing them come in, and these people, they didn't know us from a can of paint.
Right.
We hadn't built the space, but they believed in the idea too, and they were willing to put their products there and trust us with them.
Wow.
And we were like, this is
And
is
it felt
definitely
good.
needed.
It felt right. Once we start feeling everyone's energy, to our next thing you know, we had 60 brands that we narrowed it down to start with.
Yeah.
Wow.
And when I say our grand opening was phenomenal, it opened at 12? It went from 12 to 5.
It was supposed to go from 12
It was supposed to go from 12 to 5. We had a line wrapped around the corner the entire day. It was overwhelming.
Yeah.
So the demand was for surely there.
It was there.
And it's crazy because you feel now hearing this, you feel like I for lack of a better word, I feel like there's chains. There's still those barrier of chains that's wrapped around Black and brown folks.
Absolutely.
Because here you open a store, over 100 brands are reaching out like, please give me the distribution.
Yes.
And then you have customers, please sell me the product.
Right.
And then you look at our buying power, which is what, 1.7 billion you said,
I
or
believe so.
$1.7 billion buying power, and yet only 3% of our products are in the market available to us.
Exactly.
And you guys had to literally look under rocks and softly, you spread the word, but the word spread all on its
The word
own.
is spreading.
Right.
The great thing about it is because we have all of these businesses within our business, they're all spreading the word about where to find their product.
Exactly.
So it's a great collaboration, and we see it going very far because of
course,
the need.
yeah.
And we're excited.
I had so much pride and like love, and I can't even describe the emotion when I saw your store. I said, oh, I was with my daughter. I felt like I had been locked out of a room with the steak in the inside, and I had been starving. And here
Right.
it's like, yo,
I
there's
love
just
it.
a glass wall between us, and the door opened, and it was a sense of pride, It was
Yeah.
And that's what we want to give.
Right.
We want the businesses to be proud to have their stuff there, and we want every customer to feel proud when they come in.
Yeah.
And, we have all nationalities coming in shopping, and all of them are feeling that same pride and excited
Right.
to support
Yeah.
and excited
You're
to
excited
shop.
to spend
Yeah.
the dollars. Like,
Yes.
I don't think I even looked at the price tag and said, is this too much? You just feel like this is a mission-based price too,
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're shopping with purpose,
Yeah.
and because the products are, like I said, they're high quality products. They're for everyone. They're made by Black people, but they're for everyone.
Everyone, yeah.
Yeah.
And really our price points are really good. I would say no one's really jacking their prices up or whatnot. They're good prices, and they're all small businesses on top of Black owned businesses. So it is a purpose. Every sale, we're excited.
Yes.
Every sale is really making a difference.
Right.
So what would you say, and I hate to point focus on pain points, but I know as an entrepreneur, it's like we walk up, we see this beautiful store location, we see sisters that actually get along, which shout outs to my sister because, you know, she barely answers my phone calls right now. But you have sisters, you know, and everything looks great from the outside. But I kind of want to unpackage kind of the weeds to how you bloom to flowers, sort of say, you know.
Right.
As far as our journey opening.
Yeah.
Well, I will say, again, because we're working mothers, that is hard trying to find that balance, to put in enough time to make the business successful and enough time doing all the mother things, wife things, everything that you need to do. It's a constant struggle.
It is.
I don't know when that'll go away, but we're in the middle of that battlefield right now.
I have a question as a mom. I have two questions. Okay. Where do you, I would say, lose your balance? Like, I know for me, like, cooking has, like, I don't even remember the last time I cooked. My husband has became the chef. Like, he's cooking, he's cooking things that I'm like, oh, the house smells great. Like, you became a chef, you know?
Right.
So is that, like, I'm sure something has to give, right?
Yeah.
Where are the sacrifices?
It does.
That's definitely been one of the sacrifices for me. Thank goodness my husband enjoys cooking and cooks. But I mean, I'm so exhausted by time. I mean, if he asks what's for dinner, I try to play dead. Like, I can't even eat.
You're like, tuna casserole?
Yeah,
Tuna
right.
casserole?
I'm great at ordering, but yes, that's definitely one of the things that that I just don't do like I used to. And my days just feel long. I'm going to bed later because that's my time when the kids are asleep to say, okay, let me work on this, let me work on that.
Yeah, and I would say for me, thankfully, during the pandemic while we were home, I taught my boys who are 14 and 18 how to cook. So we that has been, they have been so helpful with this. Because like if I come home exhausted, I say, you know, I'll buy something for one of them to cook, which is great. But I would say the biggest struggle comes in when I'm exhausted and my 14-year-old needs help with his homework and I am tired, you know? And before I would have the energy for that, but you know, they're understanding. I just feel bad that sometimes I just don't have the energy for what they need. And that's the thing.
It's like if you're giving all your energy at one point to the business, then you feel bad at home. If you shift that and now you're giving most of your energy at home, you're like, oh, the business would be doing better if I did this. So it's really just trying to find that balance, being easy on ourselves. And for me, all my kids are, you know, pretty much old enough to understand. So communicating with them and say, you know, I'm here if you need me, if something's important, but this is also something I'm working on.
Right.
Has the business hit all the milestones you imagined? Did it exceed it or did it miss a couple?
We're still working at that. Like we're really trying to build our online business. We just launched that February 1st. So that's been a lot of work.
And that's upliftusmarketplace.com.
Exactly.
Upliftusmarketplace.com.
Amazing products online, fast shipping. So trying to grow that part of it has been a challenge. The marketing, you know, things like that. So we haven't
because we don't have the funds to hire someone to do our marketing and hire someone to build our website. And do it. I mean,
have you reached out to some of our influencer friends out there, our black and brown ones?
We have not, but we need
to.
Yeah, we need to.
I'll holler at some of them for
Please
you.
do.
I'll holler at some of them.
So
I'm going to holler at some of them for you.
Because that does help. We do need that.
Of course, you look at Fashion Nova and
we were just talking about
Fashion Nova actually, where we tape, for all you listeners, is in Panorama City Mall. Fashion Nova, the young man that owns it, who just bought like the most expensive home in LA, his founding store is actually here in Panorama City Mall.
Wow. Really?
And so ownership of the mall always jokes with me about when Fashion Nova, when he couldn't even pay his bills. And when he had to lie about his sales. And he would always tell them, like, one day I'm going to be big, and they would all laugh because he was always struggling.
Right.
And he struggled for over 10 years before he's now obviously a gazillionaire.
Right.
But a lot of people don't realize that struggle behind Fashion Nova, but it was the digital platform and it was social media influencers that stepped up and really helped his brand. So I'll definitely holler at some of those girls for you.
That's the struggle we're still in. I mean, it's doing great, obviously, and it's growing every day. New people are finding out about us, but we're definitely not where we want to be.
Yeah, of course.
Exactly. Yeah, it's the awareness is kind of where we're.
Well, that's why we're doing this show, right?
Yes,
we appreciate
absolutely.
coming out.
Yes,
We're
thank you so
happy
much.
Out of us.
So Kim Kardashian recently issued a statement. I don't know if you guys have seen it online, where she was like, "Women, my advice is you go out there and work." I was torn because I get what she was saying, but I hate to say it, but the messenger
Exactly.
was kind of, it was a little hard. And then, I think Trevor Noah had issued a statement saying, not everyone, some of success is a little bit of luck. When I look at businesses, I look at, all these elements that could contribute to it, the tipping point per se. In your guys' case, there was a definite need. The George Floyd situation happened. The need came up. The need kept coming up. The need's been coming up for a while. But luckily, because of a pandemic, again, a whole marriage of forces, allowed it to be successful. But then you have people like, say, Kim Kardashian, that's like, women, go out there and work. What was your stance when you saw that?
I felt like you said, the messenger, And, maybe she had good intentions when she was saying that, but I mean, not everyone is in the position to do that. There's so many women that are working hard. They're working so hard, and they just, they're not making nearly as much money as someone else that's not working as hard, And
that, I was in those shoes for a long time, working hard. I mean, I am a hard working person.
Yeah, right. And you're juggling a lot.
Bit of my soul. And it's just like, if you don't have, some of those things handed to you.
Yeah,
it's just hard to get there.
I felt like for her, it was just like you were born into wealth. Your playmates were like Paris Hilton,
Exactly.
And added to that, like, no disrespect to her, but she did have this video that came out that also helped her career.
Right.
And granted, I will never take anything away from the Kardashians and the Jenners.
Right.
They work hard. They work hard.
They work hard.
But to say the message to other women is to work hard is like, we didn't have
insinuating that we're not working hard already, and we are.
Right.
And I mean, imagine how many stores we would have if we could say, "Oh, Dad, can I have $1 million? I want to open 2 more stores."
Or our resources. We had all these celebrity friends that
can help put us on.
Right. Not everyone has the same resources, no matter how hard they work. I mean,
what advice do you give to women like yourselves that came from eating while broke days, that are moms, that are juggling mom, wife, and food, putting food on the table and aspiring for their dreams? Like, what advice do you give a woman?
Ooh.
My advice would be to be easy on yourself, because work hard, have your dreams, but there's going to be times when you fail. There's going to be times when you're too tired. There's going to be certain times. And a lot of times as women, I think we hold ourselves to such a standard, and we're really hard on ourselves that it can get us down. I would say be easy on yourself and go through the journey, because that's where you learn so much, and that's where you grow so much. And there's so many gems in that. It's just enjoy the journey and be easy on yourself along the way.
Right. And self-care. Self-care is so important. Sometimes we grind, but it's like we're not taking care of our mental and, taking time for ourselves. You burn out.
When you say self-care, it kind of reminds me of like self-love. And when I describe self-love to other people, it took me almost 35 years to figure out what self-love was. I used to think it was just buying yourself some movies, going on a date with yourself. Oh, that's self-love. But really, self-love isn't really that. So I'm curious, when you say self-care, what does self-care really look like?
I would say, well, first of all, you have to have self-love to not feel guilty about self-care, like to where, if you need to say no, say no. If you don't have the capacity when, to do something, it's too much for you, it's okay to say no and to take a break.
And that's what I mean by be easy on yourself. You can't do everything and be everything. And funny story is, who taught me to look at myself is my daughter. When she was about, I want to say maybe 8 years old, we were driving in the car. And I mean, from the time I had my oldest daughter, I was mom mode. My entire day consisted of that. Mm-hmm. And we were driving one day, and I'm like, what do you guys want to do today? And she says, what do you like to do? And I mean, I literally sat there driving silent for I don't know how long. I'm like, I don't know what I like to do, because I hadn't thought about me in so long. And that was really a changing point in my life where I started to think about what I like to do and what makes me happy. Obviously being a mom made me happy, but there's stuff outside of that too. So that was important.
Now, I, as a mom, sometimes like I'll have an opportunity, financial opportunity, and I'll say, man, I can't turn down that dollar. I don't know when another dollar's coming, especially as an entrepreneur. I don't know if I can afford to turn it down. But then I'm like, maybe putting too much on my plate. When do you know to turn down the checks?
Well, I'd say following your spirit, and sometimes that takes a lot of work to know how to listen to that, how to follow your spirit when something doesn't feel right, when something's nagging at you, no matter how good it looks, but something in your spirit just doesn't feel right, you have to listen to it. Otherwise, you'll find out later that you should have, no matter how big that dollar is.
And I also say, too, that, like, when an opportunity is for you, it's for you, and it's going to be there if you have to, say, I can't do it today, or I have to do it next week, or I can't do it at all. When something's yours and it's your path, it's going to be there.
Yeah, it's smooth and it feels right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that. So what are some of the milestones you'd like to see happen for Uplift Marketplace?
We'd like to see awareness across the United States for one. That's why another reason why we launched our online store, because we want our products available to everyone, someone in New York or, Atlanta or Houston, wherever, to be able to purchase our products and to be, I guess, kind of a household name. I know Uplift Us Marketplace,
And of course, we would eventually like to open stores in other locations, because each store that we open, we can provide that many more small businesses and Black-owned businesses opportunity.
Right.
So to do that all across the United States whenever possible.
I like that. Now, as you guys grow, have you been reached out to by other entrepreneurs of other ethnicities saying, please, I would love to still be in your store. I have a product that maybe caters to Black, but I'm not Black owned.
No, not really. I think most people get it.
Yeah,
they get the mission.
Yeah, they get
and
it.
it's not a knock to. It's
Right.
just and I don't want to speak for you guys, but the mission is to provide opportunity and access, correct, and distribution.
Exactly.
It's not to omit or to what is the correct word? Not repress, right? It's
I
just want to be
exclude. Yeah, we're not trying to necessarily exclude other,
even though Black brands have been excluded for years. I just want to cover that topic.
We just want to highlight them. It's not that, and like we said, they're products for everyone. So there may be people that come to our store that that may not like the idea. They come and they leave really quickly. Other nationalities.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
But
there's
there's
a few times, but for the most part.
Yeah, or even some will come in and question by the time, and they have a conversation with us and ask us like, oh, what's going on here? And once we explain what we're doing, they love it. Yeah. They appreciate it. Most of them, they get it.
Have you had any negative feedback?
Online, we've gotten a couple of comments before that, we're excluding people, and they're more about diversity and that type of thing. And, that's okay. There's always going to be those people, because some people just don't get it. They're coming from a place of opportunity, so they don't understand us trying to create that opportunity for ourselves.
Do you point them back to the name of the store?
Yes.
It's called Uplift Us, right?
I actually have, gone back and forth, but,
some people just won't get it.
To it.
Yeah.
When you guys were coming up with the name, I'm sure a bunch of names came around.
Yes.
How did you guys land on Uplift Us?
I think the word came to me first, the word uplift, and
then we played with the marketplace.
I think when we said uplift, we were like, that's it, because that's what we're doing.
Right.
And I don't even know.
Yeah. We were just bouncing things off. I was like, I like that. And then we had to kind of find a symbol that went along with it. And the hands just uplifting, it just hit. We just knew that was it. This feels right.
Okay.
Yes.
And then when you guys got into retail, for anyone that doesn't know brick and mortar, what does that process look like? Do you have to prove a lot of stuff to be able to say, let me sign that lease?
Yes.
Or do you have a lot of cash?
It was
Tell me.
quite overwhelming.
Yes. To where, halfway through, I called her. I said, what have we gotten ourselves into?
Yeah, we're like, can we do this? I mean, things that we had never done before, between plans and the stuff you had to submit. It was a lot.
The permits, the design.
You had to have permits to buy a retail space?
To rent
right.
in the mall.
Yeah.
Yes, there's a lot of requirements that you have to hit.
And insurances, right?
All that.
Was the insurance crazy? I'm not gonna lie, insurance
scares me.
When people tell me insurance, I'm like, oh, who can fraudulently create this paper for me?
Right.
Or
it's a lot.
To get the work done in the store and the contractors and all that, because my husband is very handy. He does all that kind of stuff. So we're thinking, we'll get the space and my husband will go and do everything. And they're like, oh, no, you need a contractor with all this
millions of dollars of insurance
and stuff. And that, of course, changes the budget drastically. And then just everything that goes
Yeah, it was overwhelming.
we were looking at each other like, should we do it?
And no part of you was like, run for the hills,
Yes.
or did you already
Yes.
have the money invested and
We
was
wanted
like,
to
okay,
run
we can't
at one
turn.
point, and we just kept saying, no, we can
Let's
do
just-
it. We can do
Yeah, because you know what I told myself? Because as a whole, it just felt overwhelming. And
Mm-hmm.
then I told myself, look, there's so many other stores in this mall. If they can do it, we can do it.
it. Yeah.
Oh, I love
Yeah.
that.
And then we had that conversation. We said, okay, let's look, because they sent you this email with like
Yeah, it was like
a list
incredible.
of requirements after we had signed the lease, right?
After we signed the lease.
Yes.
Oh my God. And you gave him a check.
Yes.
Oh, that's
So then we
horrible.
get the
yeah.
list.
So then we
And I
get
was
the
like,
list,
Kristel,
and we're like,
what?
oh my God. So we told each other, okay, when, at our breaking point where we're probably both ready to be in tears. And we said, let's break it up in pieces.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Take
Step by
this
step.
small piece. I'll take this small piece, and we're just gonna eat away at it until
Yeah.
we get everything.
Ignore everything else. Handle this.
Yes.
Because if like you look at it at a whole, it was too overwhelming.
Yeah, it was just like, forget the check we gave him. Let's go.
And during all of this, none of you guys broke out in a sister fight.
No.
No.
What?
You know what?
I find it so hard to believe that there was no sister
You know
fights.
what it is? It's our personalities.
Okay.
It just happens to just mesh. I'm super easygoing. She's easygoing too, but I'm like super easygoing.
And I'm
And-
easy one for the most part. When I really care about something, I really care, and she knows.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
let me give her that. And then
Yeah.
so
Yeah, we
it
call
just
her. We call her Suge sometimes. It's
Oh.
like, okay,
That's when I really care.
in a
About
loving
Okay.
way. In a loving way.
I have another question. So there's this brand Telfair. Have you heard about it?
I have.
Yes.
So what are the chances of you guys collaborating? Because
we
now
would
you've been in the
love-
marketplace and they're always in high demand, correct?
Yeah.
Like you can't
Yeah.
even get your hands on their back.
We would
I feel like
absolutely
they
love-
need to like work with y'all.
I would love.
We would love-
Just
we've
because
talked
your
about
mission
that.
was there
Yeah.
before, right?
We've
have.
talked about having Telfair in the store. We would love it. But I can say we do have a purse brand in our store. It's called Susu.
Okay.
High quality. Like I feel like this purse brand should be on the lines of Telfair. And
Okay.
it's just about it's about-
okay. I love it. I love it.
I fell in
Great
love with this
designs.
purse and I was like, we have to get these purses in here. There's no reason why these are high quality, high end purses.
Nice.
But people just, want to carry a purse that everyone knows about.
Yeah, but
you
Telfair
know.
was
No
They
name
started off that
until
way,
a
too.
celebrity carried it. Was it Beyonce who carried one first?
I think Beyonce's the one that launched them into
okay.
Yeah.
and that's what it's all about.
But you know what? It's what I love about Uplift Us is you're gonna uplift some brands that are gonna be the next Telfairs. They're
That's
gonna be
our
the
prayer.
next,
That's our
you know.
prayer.
And
That is
I
our
get
prayer.
to we get to talk about.
Yeah.
Do you remember when such and such was Susu? What was her?
Yes, Susu
Yes.
official.
Susu. Yeah, when her purse was in here,
Yeah.
and we were the first one to give her distribution.
Yes,
You know.
that is our goal. It just makes us so happy once we just want to see everyone
We
win.
want to see everyone
yeah.
win. It's really not even about us. It's just like we want to see these brands win and launch and go on to greatness. And a lot of it is, mindset too with our people. We're very brand, oriented, I guess. And we have to get away from that a little bit because there are some great quality products and things that aren't necessarily a name brand that you
Yeah.
know all the time. But to
Right.
feel proud carrying that purse knowing it's Black owned is
Yeah, and they're
great.
beautiful.
And not to say you can't still have brand brand name purses, but switch it out.
Right.
So now, when this episode drops, I'm sure there are going to be a plethora of entrepreneurs that aren't in your retail space
Yeah.
that are going to be like, I want in.
Yes.
Yes.
What does the process look like for them to get in?
Well, so what we do is we get a lot of emails. They'll email us. They can go to our website and email us. And we just kind of go through the emails. We try to, and I apologize to anyone who didn't get a response from us, but it's very overwhelming to respond to everyone. But we will go through the emails and kind of make note of either something we don't have, if it's unique, super high quality. We'll make a separate list. And once we have space for that product or a need for it, we'll just reach out to them, see if they're still interested, send them the paperwork requirements and everything.
Yes.
Now, does the brand have to be a certain financial level to
No.
get in? Like,
No, we really want to provide the opportunity for just
Yeah.
small businesses. If you have
Yeah.
a good quality product, and we'll look at it, we'll test it, and all that stuff to give our
Yeah.
opinion. Then we
Yeah.
have the space for it. We're
Yeah.
up for it.
They could have just launched it. And if
Wow.
it's phenomenal,
A lot
they're-
of our businesses launched during the pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're great. So
well, thank you both for coming by and feeding us. We didn't really do a lot of eating. I will have to reheat this. And thank you for sharing so much insight on the Black dollar and how to circulate it and how you guys are helping circulate the Black dollar.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you so much
Yeah.
for coming into our store to begin
Yes.
with and
Yes.
thinking about us for this. This is a
Yes.
great opportunity.
Yeah, thank
Yes.
you so much.
They're going to change so many people's lives by taking the chances you guys took and acting
Yeah.
upon them. Like
Yeah.
right when that
Thank you.
impulse hit.
That's our
you know?
prayer.
That's our prayer.
And
Yes.
somehow you have to teach a lesson on how sisters get along on the next episode of Eating While Broke.
Right.
A masterclass on how sisters get along. Thank you guys. Thank you to all our listeners. Check out Eating While Broke wherever you get your podcasts, Spotify, Apple, or eatingwhilebroke.com. You can even watch our live videos on YouTube. Peace.